What's up guys, it's Kara Corey here, and I'm back for another quick and easy single serve recipe because I'm really loving those lately. That way I don't waste stuff. So today I am going to use the brand new coconut chocolate cookie deliciousness protein. If you guys haven't picked this up, you better pick it up soon at tigerfitness.com because it is a limited time flavor. But we are going to use this today to make a chocolate coconut cookie. So to get started, all you're going to need is a bowl, and we're going to stir everything up in there. And I have the oven preheating right now at 350 degrees that we are going to cook our cookie at. So first thing we're going to do is just use a half a scoop of the protein. I'm just kind of guesstimating here, but if you guys want to measure it out, you could go ahead and do that. So I'm going to throw a half scoop of the protein right on in there. Next, I am going to use just like a tablespoon of quick oats. I'm going to use some coconut flour too, but I kind of like the oaty consistency, so I wanted to add some whole oats in there versus using like an oat flour. So 1 tablespoon of that. Next, we're going to use some coconut flour. This is going to help really bring out those coconut flavors. And I'm using probably about like 12 grams or so of it. If you measure out a tablespoon, it ends up being like 12 grams. So about that going on in there. Next, to make it extra chocolatey, I am going to use a tablespoon of my special dark unsweetened cocoa. If you guys don't have this protein, you can still make this recipe. You could just use the chocolate MTS Whey would work, and then you could add in, we're adding in other things that taste like coconut to help bring out those flavors. You could even add in like a coconut extract if you want. Next, for sweetener, you guys always rag on me for using Splenda, but today, since we're doing a coconut cookie, I'm going to actually use some coconut sugar. It kind of offsets the flavor very nicely. So I'm going to use a few teaspoons of that, or a tablespoon about. Throw that right in there. Next up, to help our cookie rise nice and fluffy, we're going to use some baking powder, and I'm just going to put in there like a half a teaspoon. I think I've been really into cookies lately since I've been prepping, and I feel like all I see are like Lenny and Larry's cookies everywhere, so I just want cookies, like all the time. All right, next, I believe this is most of our dry ingredients. I'm just gonna go home. I'm just gonna go home. I'm tired, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna just mix this all up real quick. Okay, and then for liquids, I've got some cashew milk, unsweetened, and I've got some liquid egg whites we're gonna use. And again, I just keep using the same tablespoon because it makes it easy. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the liquid egg whites. Very simple. And to start with, I'm just going to add in 1 tablespoon of the cashew milk. Probably a little bit more. I filled it kind of high. If we need to add a little extra, we can add extra after. But we're going to go ahead and just stir this up first to see how the batter's looking. Smells really good. You can already smell all the chocolate and coconut. All right, so we definitely don't need to add any more than that 1. You could even add a little bit less. You may not even need it at all with that cashew milk. The next thing I am going to add is I've got measured out some organic shredded coconut. Got about a tablespoon of that. My measuring cup though. Then I'm just going to dump it in there, stir that around. And the last ingredient we're going to add here, it's important to add a little bit of fat to the recipe or some type of good fat substitute in order for it to bake and not get too overly dry. As you know, when you cook with whey, things can get kind of dry and spongy. We want to avoid that. So for this recipe, I'm going to use a little bit of peanut butter. If you have almond butter laying around, that works. If you have some coconut oil, that would also work nicely. But I'm going to add in about a half a teaspoon of the Peter Pan peanut butter, and this ends up being about 5 grams. And the peanut butter doesn't really take over the chocolate coconut flavor, but it does just kind of help bind it all together a little bit better. So go ahead and mix that all up, and then we should be all set to get this in the oven. So I forgot one extra thing. You guys probably won't have this laying around at home, but I forgot I had it up in the cupboard. This is Better Stevia. It's a stevia sweetener in dark chocolate. So I think this will add a really nice flavor to this. And you guys know I like stuff sweet. So I'm gonna put some squirts in there of that. So if you want, taste the batter before you put it in, before you actually put it in the oven. Make sure it's sweet enough to your liking. Things tend to taste sweeter when you taste it in the batter versus after it's cooked. So just kind of play around with it and make sure it's to your sweetness liking. So we're gonna go ahead and just use a spatula. Get that all on there. And then I'm just gonna kind of like form it into a cookie so that it's kind of all an even side. Even on all sides. That's what I meant to say. And this is not gonna need long to cook in the oven. Just about 6 minutes or so, and we should have our single serve cookie all good to go. All right guys, my giant cookie has been in the oven for 6 minutes. I just let it cool for a few minutes before I picked it up. You can tell it's still very moist on the inside. I like my cookie to be nice and soft and moist on the inside, but if you like a crispier cookie, probably just put it in for another couple of minutes. So I shall break this apart. It's pretty much almost the size of a Lenny and Larry's cookie if you guys have had those. Oh, the money shot. Look at that. I didn't really cut it in half perfectly, but you can see how nice and moist it is on the inside. So pretty easy to whip this up together at home, cook it for 6 minutes, and you've got yourself a guilt-free, big-ass chocolate coconut cookie. So I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe. Give it a try. You guys can purchase this while it's still available at tigerfitness.com. We'll have the link in the description. Keep checking back for more.